All right. Like it's flipping. What? Current bit rate is low. I think that correct. After a minute. All right. I think we're live. Welcome to Code Hangout number 152. So today we're going to do a couple of things that came up. We're going to look at metadata in puzzles. We're going to look at some issues with the no-grid setting, which is more and more puzzles are using, and which apparently some converters, I don't know if it's Sudoku Maker or Mark's tool, are using. Okay, so we have a couple of issues with puzzle metadata. So we need, I'm going to write these things down. There's a couple of things I might be able to do today, actually, and some things I want to plan. So we need to start doc for puzzle metadata for for visibility slash I don't know, privacy is probably the wrong word, but basically I need to be able to give setters control over what to do with the puzzles in the future when there's things like a discovery surface and so on. So if somebody's building a puzzle that's like a secret that nobody should see, I want them to be able to mark the puzzle, or likely the other way around. So, you know, legacy puzzles will all be quote unquote invisible and won't come up in a search. But if somebody wants to have their puzzle be public, they can set a flag, you know, they have the final version, etc., right? And then in the future, obviously, they'd be able to modify the same metadata for previous puzzles, you know, old versions, in-progress versions, testing stuff, and so on and so forth. They might not want to clutter up search results for puzzles made by them, for example, right? For visibility, to see. We want to, there's another thing we can do. So, main keep settings query string data when creating auto short IDs. So we might be able to just keep the kind of, what's the word? The query string data like this at the end, which isn't on this one at the moment. So basically that if somebody has setting no grid at the end of a long URL, we can just maintain that as we're creating the short ID. So let me see, we had URLs here. I think that was the test data. So no grid test data, long URL there, short URL was this, right? So then hopefully from the long URL, which, let's expand that quickly. So we have it here, which should be less than 1,000 characters, which is really this one. Kind of like that. How long is that actually? That is 1037. Okay, that's kind of our limit on these, and it has the setting at the end, and maybe we can maintain that into when we're creating the auto short ID. All right, let me see what else we got here. So here, Juggler says a lot very quickly. Live stream 5 minutes. Okay. 3. Check on puzzle extend slash margins with / without regions. So there's a problem where he wanted to hide region lines, and this puzzle doesn't have them. And then when he was hiding the region lines. Oh, hey, Michael. Just share actual puzzle that's... I think today I can just share an actual puzzle that's having the weird alignment problem. I was hoping to keep it private, but if it helps with debugging, I think it should be fine. Yeah, so the discoverability thing is more like, right, basically, I want to do the best and safest thing for the setters, which is not necessarily the best thing for the solvers. Which probably means that initially, once we have, you know, a puzzle database and some kind of search, it won't show anything in there. And then only newly added puzzles that are marked appropriately would show up. That way, basically, there's maximum protection. It's a bit sad because, you know, 99% of puzzles probably are meant to be public, right? But I don't want to upset setters, and I don't want to make it so that some setters say, oh, I can't use SudokuPad anymore because he's screwing me, right? And I know there's some setters that are very private about their puzzles, and that's their right. So what I want to do is, ahead of in time, I want to be able to let people add like a flag to their puzzle and say, hey, I want to make this puzzle public once this stuff is available, etc., right? Another issue is obviously ownership, because right now there's nothing on the puzzle that lets me know who owns the puzzle. So in the future, we'll have some problems with people trying to change existing puzzles, right? And hopefully, for the most popular puzzles and the biggest setters, it'll be something I can manually do, like the top 100 setters or something. I can probably go in and give, quote unquote, give them their puzzles, and then anybody who really cares, we can work something out. There'll be a lot of puzzles where, you know, misspelled author names, or where I don't know the person, or where I have no way of tracking them down, which will sort of, they'll sit in an archive, and I hope in the future maybe some of those will be assigned and be, you know, and maybe I can say, okay, after 6 months or after 12 months, they will become public and become available in the search or something. I don't know. I'll have to figure something out. Why are the long URLs needed? They're not needed at all. To be honest, I just made a cutoff where, because to be honest, the short URLs aren't, you know, it just stores the same data as the URL in a little file and then references that by that short ID. I just made some sort of cutoff where I said, hey, if it's shorter than that, there's not much point of doing it. And that cutoff is about 1,000 characters, right? Because frankly, there's a limit to how long URLs can be, and 1,000 characters is under that limit for any system I've encountered. So those are always safe, and I figured if people make some sort of test or demo, or like in this case, some debugging thing, it might be convenient to do this. What I really need is a flag to let people force long URLs so it doesn't do that switch. But to be fair, the long URLs can cause problems on various networking infrastructures. Although there's ways around that, you know, using hashes, using query strings. I could put a lot of work into it, but I was hoping I would get to the puzzle database soon enough that none of that would actually matter. Yeah, creating a lot of junk puzzles isn't gonna be a problem, because I'm actually working on algorithms to kind of ameliorate them. And the idea would be that, kind of like a Git history in the future, in your account, you'll log in, you'll go to your account, you'll go to a puzzle, and on that puzzle there will be a version history. Kind of like if you go to a Google Doc, it'll show you a history, right? So there'll be a version history of that puzzle, all the changes you've made, right? It's a little more complex than that, because there are puzzles that have multiple versions of the same puzzle. For example, there might be a slightly harder, slightly easier version. There might be for example, James Sinclair makes versions of his puzzles with colors and without, or a version of the same puzzle with slightly more hints. So I don't want a puzzle to be a linear sequence of sort of an evolution of that puzzle, like one history. It's more of a puzzle. In fact, one of the hard jobs I'm working on at the moment is to define what a puzzle is. So that is a more complex question that most people probably imagine, right? But it would probably include variants. So there'll be, so for example, a visual variation, comma, with, for example, background with or without background. Oops. Actually, you see there's already subgroups of these, right? With or without background. There might be with... Isn't there like a term w/out? Isn't it? Can I just do this? Out colors, rules, different wordings, hints, you know, like there could be rules with like a slightly easier set of rules with an additional hints. Other variants might be like straight up variants, like there could be a puzzle that's so thematic, but you don't want to have them as separate puzzles. But let's say, you know, that puzzle, for example, where you're adding a single digit in the middle, 1, 2, or 3, and it creates 3 different kind of versions of the puzzle. Those should be grouped maybe as one puzzle, right? So kind of like, but they might go under you know, constraints. So, oops. So constraints variations could be easier with more. More. What do you call them? I mean, there are constraints, but more hints. No, more easier with more constraints. With more constraints shown, for example, right? Or just difficulty variation. There could be a variation for difficulty. There could be just straight up, like for example, a puzzle where it's exactly the same visual, but the line means different things. So different interpretation of constraints. So those might all sort of get grouped in the future into a set or whatever of puzzles, right? But and there might even be different visibilities. Like there might be a public version and a private version. I don't know why, right? But like I don't want to limit what setters can do with these things, right? And then obviously, besides variants, right, we have includes the history, right? Develop or setting history. So like over time, you know, it might be all the versions that were built while creating the puzzle, but also maybe the puzzle will then get feedback and then there'll be some improvements, you know, that kind of thing. We'll have setting history. We don't have to write, you know. So the variants of released puzzle, right? Setting history, but and setting history is probably going to be up here. And probably each variant might have its own setting history, right? There could be corrections, and minor improvements, or just improvements, right? So there could be changes to wording. There could be just straight up variants, right? Like for example, Cracking the Cryptic might want to release a puzzle with a particular kind of standard wording of the rules, but the setter might want to maintain sort of the main puzzle. Maybe the rules text is a poem or some kind of punny thing that they want to keep, but maybe CTC thinks is too obscure for mainstream use, you know, that kind of thing, right? So I want to kind of be able to group all of these together in some sort of interface, so then a solver can see the different variants of the puzzle, but they might also have different visibility, right? So like the easy version or the hinted version might not be available right away, or maybe they have to solve the easy version first and then they'll get to the difficulty version, or all sorts of things like that, right? Let me just catch up on your comments. Lines, text, shapes, etc. are very differently in puzzle setting software than in SudokuPad, so often I have to iterate a lot. Yeah, no, don't worry. Like I said, I'm working on algorithms to kind of map these together and figure out what is what and which ones belong to which. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. In the future, the counter ID will just be, like, every puzzle will just have an ID, right? Right now, there aren't IDs. So, but it's a good point that, for example, the variants might want to have, like, we might want to actually assign like, we want to have this concept all have one total counter, but then sub-counters for the variants, right? So you could say, okay, more people play the background version, you know, which percentage of players plays the background version versus the one without a background image, and so on and so forth, right? Yeah, that's the thing. This in the future, this will be just something you. So the idea would be I might not, I'm not at the moment yet working on an actual setting tool for setting the constraints of the puzzle, but there'll be definitely a screen where you import the puzzle and you can do all sorts of edits for this metadata, things like rules and titles and so on. So in the future, you'll be able to say, okay, so these are the groups, these are the published ones. It's probably going to be a little complex because I think there's a lot of subtlety to this, but we'll also have to see because, I've seen obviously the cases where this happens, but it might be the minority. It might be 0.1% of all puzzles that need this feature. So, it might just come down to there'll be a bunch of sort of invisible private puzzles and then a few published primary puzzles, that kind of thing. Yeah, but like once I have a database, it's not a problem. Then I can use proper IDs. This was more like a reaction to the problems of kind of all the different. I have some puzzles with 121 different versions in the database, right? And right now the counter works actually surprisingly well, right? And maybe different puzzles shouldn't use the same title. Like I can have an ID, but the users out there and published puzzles, they don't have that luxury, right? They might only see a list of IDs, right? Anyway, let's have a quick look. The important one is the margins and the extent. So I'm going to look at the latest URLs you sent me and see if I can use this one. So this is what I am allowed to look on stream. So let's see what that looks like. All right, so this one is that version. And if we have the grid on, yeah, you see this matches perfectly fine for me. I'm not sure if that's representative of the problem you're encountering. Goal is to get rid of the regions line without affecting... Yeah, but this one has regions lines. Do you have a version without region lines? The thing is, what I don't understand is why you're trying to hide the lines when you have lines in the background image. Why not just get rid of the lines in the background image and then not hide the lines? I'm not quite sure what the point is here. Like, why not just remove the lines from the background image? The background image will become smaller, and the whole puzzle will become much more relevant. Also, if you're including an external URL, I highly recommend against that, because that will not work in the future, obviously. Because that URL may not work anymore in the future, right? So if I say, does this actually load an image from somewhere else? I'm not sure, actually. Or did you actually correctly embed that? Which is not a simple thing to do. Frame.app.source puzzle. So let's have a look at the metadata. Yeah, so the problem is this might not work in the future. So generally, I would highly recommend to only embed images, which of course means you want to make the images quite small. And this, without the grid lines, could be very, very small. There's no reason why this image cannot be embedded and could be very, very tiny. Like, this is 34K, but it doesn't need to be 34K. Let's see, if I export this as PNG, and like this, it would be 10K like this. And that's not really adding a lot of data to the puzzle. Yeah, but that's fine. Oh, you want to cut the parrots above the grid lines. Oh, no. Oh, that's a very... Why don't you add the parrots on top, then? Let me think. I don't think I have a good way of including images just yet, huh? Is there a way of adding small images on top of the thing besides emojis right now? Huh. Alright, let me bring this into my local environment and see what I can do with this. Nope. I want to go here. Right. So, and we'll add the, yeah, in fact, we just encountered the whole setting no grid getting stripped. That, I probably could maintain that through the auto ID generation. We'll see. Oh, puzzle pack yesterday. Okay. So, oh, do I have any unsafe changes? I think we can deal with that. So, let us do something here. Let's do something useful. Oops. This is gonna be. I'm just gonna pull the actual raw data of the puzzle out for now. So, get puzzle ID. Await puzzle loader dot fetch puzzle. That should get us the long puzzle. Right. And then we'll just decompress it. Dot strip puzzle format. And then we'll do decompress it. Load of puzzle dot decompress puzzle. We'll do that. I don't think I need any more async for any of this stuff. Okay, and then we'll what was this? It was SCL data, right? So this will be zipped. Yeah, we'll do puzzle zipper.unzip. All right. And then that's our JSON data. Okay. So I'm just going to copy that just to make it a little easier to work with. If I save this as some kind of test, and I'll say a parrot test. Yes, and I'll prefix it with. I don't think I need to prefix it at all right now. Test/parrot test. There we go. Right. So now we're dealing with uncompressed JSON, and it'll be easier to deal with. Welcome. Take a look at this one on stream. Isn't that the one we're just looking at? Right. Guys, that the real grid lines render over the Paris region boundaries lines. All right. So first of all, let's do a little bit of reformatting so I can see what's going on here. We have the background image here. ID, metadata. This is all metadata, title, yada yada. And then we have all the rest down here. That should still work. Okay. So let us take a look at the image. So now to get rid of the region lines, we'll have to remove the regions, which is a bit sucky because you kind of want the region checking, but you could in theory replace them with killer cages and then just have those rendered in invisible style. Regions are just killer cages. All right, we have this version as well. So can I just, if I do JSON.parse and then JSON.stringify with null tab, boom. Can I do that? I do this? Can I do that? So copy that, stick that in here, boom, and then refresh this. Okay, unfortunately that makes a mess of that part, but that's fine. So let's look at the image then. if I remove this just like that, we still have, oh wait, is it not refreshing correctly? API error test. Come on. Did I not save this? Error test. Staging. No. It's, come on. Right? I think my guy here doesn't restart when I update that file. That's going to be a huge pain in the butt. Wait, what? Puzzle, test, parrot, test, staging. How is it coming out like this? Huh? Oh, it is. Okay. Why? Oh, white space reformatting here. Okay. If I do this now. Okay, so that's the new version without the background image. Okay. All right, so we'll do now setting dash no grid plus 1. Low grid. Yeah, close enough. Not really. Okay. And now we basically want to look at the relevant positioning. If I can get it to freaking update the back. Really? It won't clear the cache, even if I tell it specifically empty cache and reload. Because it's cached in here. I'm gonna hack something in. I can hack something in if I look in the puzzle loader. Puzzle loader. And I'll go where it fetches the puzzle. And I'll just add something to the URL. We'll just do something like this. Math.random. Right, if I do this. Okay, now it should update every time. Just remember to remove that afterwards. So now we have a different size. And if we look at advanced add background image, and we look at the other version here, and we'll go at here, advanced add background image, and we compare these two, you see it'll have 0, 0 margins here, because this measure is actually calculated based on the puzzle. And because this puzzle, its extent of elements is different, basically. You know, where you see, if I select everything, it goes to the edges of elements, right? Where here, the edges of elements are, you know, basically right up to these bubbles. But here it goes a bit further out because it has the region lines. Yeah. So ideally, I think, well, there's also a plan to have the actual extent of the puzzle, like where the puzzle is, as metadata, right? Metadata puzzle position / extent. But that's not a small change. So that's definitely not something we're going to look into today. So today I'm just going to see, can I add invisible information to here? Do you have the links, the original links, the links that I can actually edit? I think this is Sudoku Maker, right? If I look at the data, it has, yeah. So this is a Sudoku Maker link. How can I add this in Sudoku Maker? I don't know. Can I go back from this data to Sudoku Maker, or is there a different URL that I need to use? Right, you're chatting with me in 3 different chat rooms. I'm not gonna see most of those. Alright, so in the meantime, let's see if I can just manually generate something here. So for example, if we'll do an overlay, let's do an overlay that has stroke red, angle, no, center. If I say center 4.5, and then width height 9, blue, f0, let's say, and then hash 00f. And now I need to reforce to no, it should refresh, right? Unless this overlay is not correct. Which is very well possible. It's been a while since I've manually edited this stuff. Is it not loading this correctly? Overlays. I'm gonna single line these. 1 sec. Let me. This is a huge pain in the ass having these multi-lined like that. Let me go back to wherever I did the initial export. I think this one is fine. We'll just start with this one again. Right. Now I feel like I should have done this somewhere else. Oh no. No! Shoot. No. No! Wait, how do I remove these? I don't know. Ah, shoot. 1 sec. I just did some bullshit with my layouts here. Did I press Alt Shift? Layouts. Columns. It just kept adding. And no matter which one I pressed. Okay, we're back. Okay, okay, I'm just gonna take all of this, put it in here, go back to the top, get this, put it back here. Just split out the ones that I care about. We have metadata here. It goes till here. Then we have cells, yada yada, we don't care. Regions. We pulled the data from the wrong one. This one is the one with the regions. We're just gonna get rid of that. And pull it from the other one. Starting to get confusing. When things get confusing, I'm gonna make mistakes. Which one was the last one you sent without the grid line? Wither 6v something. 6va something. Alright, so grab this one. Alright. Put that in there. Right. Do a little bit of manual reformatting here. Don't care about the cells. We don't care about the lines. We do care about the overlays. I think I saw something somewhere. Overlays. Nope. Didn't want to type that. Overlays. Here we go. Boom. I do this. Now we go back to this guy. Find the overlay we've added. I believe it's this one, and we can just add that in here. Don't know where the overlay is finished, to be honest. Is there anything after overlays? Ah, no, there isn't. Okay. So they really just finish here. Okay. Why do we have to lines here. Lines, there should only be one. Did I duplicate something here? Shoot. I duplicated something, didn't I? Let's hope this is not completely corrupt. Let's hope. It might be a complete mess. We might have to redo this after all. Okay. I don't see our overlay here. Let's make sure. Really not there? I don't see it from there. Okay, let us start reload. Can just do this. If I look for if I say magenta, do this, find magenta. Okay. Oh, I think the query string, my cache in here is not my cache isn't gonna care. It's not gonna care. I'm gonna actually have to modify the server to not cache. All right. I really need like a debug mode where I don't have to do these things manually. All right, let's see. Server. Cache. If I change this to 0, that always gonna, I think is always gonna refresh. There we go. All right. I think we're in. We're in it with Sin right now. So we've got our red background here. The stroke, I guess, but as you can see, the background is aligned now compared to which was the non-aligned version. Compared to setting no grid 1. Yeah, so that's the unaligned version. And this one will be aligned. Okay. So by adding a transparent overlay, let's make sure that making this transparent actually does the trick. But that should do the trick. Once again, doing something funky with a cache. It's once again stuck in the cache somehow. Oh, apparently setting it to 0 made it unbounded. So if we max it to 1 and then set the time to live 0, that always gonna refresh. It refreshed once because I just restarted the server. If I say background color magenta, okay. Okay, now this time it refreshed instantly, right? Hey, there we go. So that should work. And now the parrots are above the grid lines. Now, let's see about including the background image here as well. So, IMG, I think. Because that's 20K we probably don't need. Or 30K. Oh. Okay. Let us close these. Put that in here. Actually, what if we just go to a like tiny PNG or whatever? Right. And then we'll just drag that on here. See how small we can make it. 11K. But I'm pretty sure we can probably make that smaller still. So in here, if I just save this Just like, because the thing is, there are some things you can do with PNGs, like lossy compression, which a lot of tools just don't support. And something like this, where it's all flat color, and then you just have a little bit of detail somewhere in the middle. Like, you can get away with a lot of compression artifacts, you know what I mean? Like, the birds don't have to be super detailed. But let's see what, like, a pro compression tool. Like, this gets it down to half, and I think this is lossless, right? Let's see, there's some other ones. Lossy PNG and the transparency around the outer edge is actually going to add something, because it's like an additional color. There's something else. Tiny PNG. There's, besides tiny PNG, there is some other ones that I often used. PNG compression. Compressed PNG, maybe? I think I always mess around with this and then ultimately don't actually get any benefit. So let's see. It probably shouldn't be an overlay. It should probably be an underlay, so it doesn't risk blocking anything. It shouldn't, but... Can I not modify this a little bit? Great, it tells me the percentage change, but it doesn't tell me what actually happened. Ah, here we go. If I reduce the colors to, like, I don't know, 64 colors. Look at that, it's less than 6K. And these birds, you know, that looks perfectly fine. If we get down to 32, I think we're losing a tiny bit of detail, like on the feathers or something. Like, it's a little blurry, like there's some fuzziness. It actually reduces some noise, I think. It almost looks better. Ooh, where'd we go? So this is less than 6 kilobytes, which is not really useful. All right. If I apply that, I download that, right? And then I say, okay, if I look at this to compare, and we'll just make this bigger, right? So that's the minified version, and that's the original. Minified original. So the minified version actually adds a little bit of grain. I don't know why. It's so strange. What's the original? That's the original, right? Yeah, the original doesn't have the grain. Probably because it's trying to die there because we reduced the colors so much. I don't know. It doesn't actually... I don't think it's a problem. Yeah, so then you want to do base 64 image whatever, right? Then we'll take our little 7 kilobyte file. We'll create a base 64. So now this is a URL that contains the image data, just like with the puzzles, right? So this is base 64, so I can put that in there and I can open the image, right? And it's bigger than 6 kilobytes because the base 64 encoding makes it a bit bigger. So this is 9 kilobytes, right? But, you know, how big is the puzzle data right now? The uncompressed puzzle, 14 kilobytes, right? Yeah, it about doubles the puzzle data, right? But, you know, it is what it is. In the future, I'll add better controls for that sort of stuff. First of all, let's change this to an underlay. See if that works better, or at least is less likely to interfere. And since you're not using underlays for anything else, it's kind of separate, you know. But in the future, this also should be some kind of metadata. Let's be honest. We do this, right? We'll refresh that. Ah, interesting. So the underlay doesn't work. What if I do red? Underlays. Ah, okay. All right. I just misspelled that. So make that transparent. Boom. So that works, right? Now we can take the image, stick that in our metadata here. Where is our image metadata? So we can put that in here and refresh. And now if we look at the puzzle data, it's here, this one, right? You see the image in here, and it's 8 kilobytes by the time it's gzipped and all that. Can I get the full size? If I show big request rows, here we go. Yeah, so the puzzle, no, wait, that's not the puzzle data. This is the puzzle. It's about 24 kilobytes, but that's fine. Like for an image like this is perfectly fine. All right, and now we basically need to turn this back into a valid, compact puzzle format, right? So we kind of want to take all of this. We're gonna go over here. We're gonna go JSON dot parse, and then we'll go JSON dot stringify. Okay, so that should get us a single line compact JSON like that. Position 208. What? We need the multi encode decode something. No, wait. No, I think these need to become doubles. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. Well, boom, 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 boom. Oops. Why are you using backtick quotes? That's so hate that. That's looks like it's something that got pasted from a word processor. All right, so we'll have that. Then we'll zip it. Zip, zippity doo. And then we'll compress it. Boom. Compress it. Do we have enough braces here? I'm not sure. I think the syntax highlighting here is no longer comfortable with the level of depravity here. All right, and that's 16 kilobytes. So if we now take this, and I'm not gonna just replace this. This is an SCL format file data now. Let's just put that over here so we don't, in case we're messing up. And now this, if I look at that, right? Bada bing, bada boom. And now that should work as you expect. Now, what it doesn't have right now is the regions. Now, internally, the regions are just sort of specially formatted killer cages. So what I would recommend is to basically add killer cages, but have them invisible. Let's see if we can do that easily. I'm just gonna keep a copy of that over here. And I'm gonna do, let's do, get back this data. It's a lot easier to work with. Stick that back in here. All right, has the ad been added recently? The top drop down ad completely breaks the puzzle layout on mobile web version. All right, I think somebody is reporting that an ad is covering some stuff, and it's in a place where there shouldn't be an ad at all. And I think Google, I have some sort of experiment enabled, but I should have known that their system isn't going to figure out how my site works. Top drop-down ad completely breaks the puzzle layout on mobile. Yeah, I don't think... I might have to just disable those. So let me just do that. Just give me a sec because I might not be able to do that on stream. Because, you know, this is just an experiment, and as you can see, the ads make about $2 to $3 a day, so obviously this doesn't make sense at all. But it's just a technical test to see kind of what the numbers are, and to have a base of comparison with other systems that I might try out. Ultimately, what I'd love to do is only advertise my own products, right? So advertise things from within the community, you know, gas rise, like things for people who like Sudokus. I think it might be in one of these. Yeah, I think this, whatever they call anchor ads, probably... how to optimize experiment running for anchor ads. I don't even know what an anchor ad is. Can I just shut this down? I want to disable this. I remove this. Can I disable these? How do I jeez, here. Just switch it off. On suggestion, to turn it off, I'll stop running experiments for you. You can still run your own. Change your settings to run only experiments that you like, or switch to suggestions where Google will run experiments and suggest improvements that you can apply. No. Like, I don't even know what they mean, run experiments, and then, like, is it actually showing things to users and breaking my site? That's the frickin' question, you know? Alright, it should be off now. I wish people would come on my stream to talk to me about these things. That's why I do these support streams. Okay. Where were we? Okay, we added the underlay. Oh, yes, regions. So the idea is, can we add cages that replace the regions? So if I do something like cages... and to be honest, I haven't manually added a cage in a long time, so I might have to actually spy on the code to see how it interprets cage data. Boom. Cages, puzzle cages filter. I'll need some sort of... I'll need a puzzle with cages in it just to see what that looks like. Boom. All right. Frame work app dot source puzzle. Boom. Cages. So we want a unique cage, and then we obviously need to figure out how can we hide that kind of cage. So if we create cages, then we'll do cells like that. So for example, 0, 0, like that, right? Cells, unique, true, and then no value. If I do this, it breaks because this is not valid JSON. Boom. I see this as JSON data. If I go to JavaScript or just JSON, here we go. Oh, hey, Pear. How are you doing? Yeah, man, I hate these automated ad systems because obviously they rely on the cookies to figure out what people want to see. And SudokuPad is not a website that's easy to analyze for Google to figure out what it's about because it doesn't have a lot of text on it. It's not Wikipedia, you know. I mean, if I look at the ads that people get, they're horrible, and obviously they're not making any money. Hopefully, the ad partner I'm working with is more video game that I want to move to is more video game based, and you know, people will at least get ads for maybe puzzle games and things like that. And maybe in the future, I don't need to do these kind of ads. Maybe I can just advertise my own products. That would be the ideal world. And then I don't need cookie consent or anything like that because I don't need to track people. I know what people are here for. You know, they're here for the puzzles and so on. Maybe even CTC might advertise on my site in the future. Who knows, right? But anyway, sorry about that. But, you know, gotta pay the bills. And right now, it's not paying the bills for sure. I mean, the ads are $5 a day, so it's not like, you know. It hasn't even paid yet for the time it took to set it up. Let's say that. Okay, we've got a cage here, right? And if I add the remaining cells in there for that, can I? I'm gonna disable the startup dialog here. 0, 2. Right. Let's just do the cage for the first region. So if I do this, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and like that, right? That should get us a killer cage like this. Now, what I haven't tried yet is styling on these cages. So in theory, the default style is killer, but there are other styles available. Not many. And I think I can actually just give them like a border color of nothing. I know others have done it. If I say something like border color red. Okay, and if I say border color invisible, we'll get that. And if I put a 1 here and a 1 here, it marks them. But if I put a 1 here and a 1 here, it doesn't mark them. Yeah, so that's basically why, Michael, why I want to add invisible killer cages. So we get the conflict checking for the regions. Okay. The annoying thing is I'm going to have to write these out. So if I do this, like that, and like that, and I'll do that, and I'll do... can we just go here and grab them? Frame work.app.source puzzle. Can I just grab the regions? This is the one without the regions. Where's the one with the regions? I think this one might have regions. Regions. Okay. If I do that dot regions, JSON.stringify, boom. Regions dot, I say, oops. The music stopped. This is the day the music died. I think we need to start over. Can I get the normal view? No, that's... Oh! I'm constantly fighting with this stupid YouTube layout. Nope. Can we just have that? Okay. Yeah, but, you know, not being able to afford food is also a dark pattern, unfortunately, and people using tools for free and not valuing them is also a dark pattern, unfortunately. JSON R dot join. Oops, boom. Dot join console.log. I do this. Right. And I take that. Right. And now I should be able to just take that, put that at the front. Like that. Right. And then I should be able to put this thing at the end. Like that. not like that. Like that. And like that. And boom. Does that do the trick? So if I now put a 1 here, okay, and if I put a 2 here and here, but if I put a 2 here and here, it's fine. And 2 here, that doesn't, okay. So that should replace the cages, Michael. Don't know if you're still there. All right, and now we can take that, turn that into a flat URL using this little bit of code. Boom. And now, I hope the cage shouldn't add too much size. Did I get something wrong here? Oh yeah, the backslash ends again. So we got 2 more here. I think that's it. And that we have that. Oh, how big is this one? This one was 57 kilobytes. Ah, no, that's the total file. Sorry. This one is 16 and this 17.2. Okay. Now, if we take that and put that back into here, and before we do that, we'll keep a backup of this. Do that. Save that, and pow! There we go. And yeah, that should work as a long URL. So if I go SudokuPad, boom. Oh, why do I see ... That's not right. No, let's do this. That should work as a long URL. Document.location was this. Document. I don't think it's actually even trying. Let's clear that. Try that again. Name not. Identifier found. Local. Christ, really? SudokuPad.app. Boom. 403. SudokuPad.app. SudokuPad.app. What's the problem? What's the response? HTTP response code. Why can't I just do this? God damn it! Response code failure. What? Let me just put that here. Let me get back to the original. This is a weird thing. SudokuPad.app / https://list SudokuPad.app / let me try localhost. It shouldn't be too long, but maybe it is. Maybe at 16K it's already too long. Oh my god. The number of times I copy the thing I want to paste, overwrite the thing I want to paste, with an accidental copy. HTTP response code failure. I don't think it ever gets here. What does that even mean? How can there be a response code failure when you're not trying to get a response? HTTP localhost. Is it just the URL length? All right, if I shorten it, it works. So it's the freaking URL length. Puzzle ID equals. If I do that. That doesn't work. What? But then it's definitely not a URL length issue. Damn it. One sec. What's going on here? HTTP response code failure. From error HTTP response code failure. Man, these error codes are so useless. Does this mean there's an error from the server? Did you fail to get a response code? Does it mean you tried to get a response code? That's so stupid. It's like saying the airplane crashed because I'm walking on the floor. If there had never been an airplane that I sat in, then there no airplane crashed. Well, it definitely isn't incorrect. Because you're not actually making a request. In fact, 67 bytes, that's not the size of the URL, so a request is never happening. Localhost 9012. Am I getting something obvious wrong here? I mean, it sucks that they don't even show the full URL in the URL bar. Is it just a URL length issue? 16K doesn't... Like, I'm sure we have puzzles much longer than that. I mean, that's one of the problems with the puzzle size. And it shouldn't be. Lots of things shouldn't be. Here's another example where cookie banner completely blocks the resume button. Just reply. Just close it with the X. Like, there's a button to... Hey, Pear, there's just a button. Just press the button. There's nothing I can do about that, to be fair. And, you know, I can't really expect... Like, any system that shows some sort of banners cannot automatically account for every possible layout of screen. And, you know... All right. To be honest, what I did with that is I didn't want everybody to get the cookie request because not many people see the ads. In fact, only people that played less than 10 ads see less than 10 puzzles should see the ads. Per, can you let me know? Have you played many puzzles before? Okay, so then there's an issue here. Because that's something actually I'm interested in to see if that system works reliably. That means my system to detect is not working correctly. All right, let me do one thing at a time. I'm kind of getting discombobulated here, and then I'm gonna do 5 things not at all. Require just the browser setting at all. It's just create a file. Makes a content empty JSON object. What? How do I fix DevTools fail to load? No, that's what? Google searches. Okay, that's a title. Sure. Get the error response code failure when I click. How fix DevTools? DevTools loads or fix this issue. Man, these are all kind of useless. Let's try something else. What if What if we do let URL equals new URL like that? Right. And then we'll do URL.search equals like that. And then log URL. Like if we assemble the URL from parts, does it look any different? Right? And if I say URL.href, what do we get? This. If I copy that and paste it and go there, doesn't work. And if I say document.location.href equals href, do that. 431. 4-1. The server responded with a say. First of all, that's not true. My server doesn't even know this error code. Secondly, the network tab doesn't show that. All right, if I clear this now, paste that in here. It says 431. Why do I have a feeling this is coming from like some sort of extension or something? Actually, I want this here. If I put that here, request header field too large. Okay, thank you. That's actually almost a useful error message. Request header field too large. But 16 kilobytes doesn't seem like it should be too much for a query string. The refer URL is too long. There are too many cookies sent in the request. Huh? What's going on is that the server refused to process the request because request HTTP headers are too long. The reason may be reducing the size of the request headers. 431 can be used total size of request headers is too large, or when a single header file field is too large. To help those running into this error, indicate which of the two problems is in the response body. Ideally, also include which headers are too large. I don't know. The refer URL is too long. Well, that's definitely not the case. One sec. Can I make these slightly more readable for the stream? Resize these. That. If I go here. Request. No payload for this request. Isn't this the request payload? Request headers fields too large. Node.js error error 4. Which one is it? 431? 431. Can I make that bigger? Try this. Taking about an arm. Header size, for example. Node.js max HTTP header size. God damn it. Are you kidding me? Is it a 16K limit? Yeah, so that's one of the issues with background image inclusion. I think so. Then I would run node options max HTTP header size node on only simple fetch requests. So I can probably increase it, but I don't actually I don't really want to. The thing is, I'm certain we have puzzles that are larger than that. So if I go to the database, the puzzle database, right? And I go puzzle info, and I don't actually store, let's see, root MongoDB Node.js, sort by string length. How do I get field length? Project field 1 field length. Size. Can I just do size? Or can I just do len size puzzle raw $puzzle raw, I guess. If I do this, expect a number in. Fail to parse $size. Does this need to be double quoted? Fail to parse. Find. Expected a number in size puzzle raw. Project sort. Well, is it the len thing? What if I just do this? Oh, come on. No, I don't even need Node.js. I don't even want to sort. I just want to get the string length. If I can get the string length, I can sort by that later. Length. str len dp. If I do this instead, unknown top level operator. You have a field name that starts with using get field or set field. If I do len and then that, can I just do that? I need to do this. Not in an aggregate though. One sec. Wait, what do you say, Michael? Can you try with a different puzzle ID? Just for my notification, why the design where the entire puzzle data is in the URL rather than stored in the database? The URL is just a key. Because there's no database. And because I didn't have the puzzles when I created the application. Simple as that. If I don't have the puzzles, I can't give you the puzzle for an ID if I don't have the puzzle. So I have to get the puzzle somehow, right? And there's still no database. Add fields length. Unknown top level operator. Add fields. Set field. Set field. Unknown top level. Okay. MongoDB unknown top level operator set field. Unknown operation. Please use operation. That's super helpful. Super helpful. Damn it. MongoDB compass how to get string length. Okay. But this is not in compass. This is in aggregates. So I have to do an aggregate first. Where are the aggregation stages? No, I just wanna. Where are the stages? I don't want to preview. Ah, here we go. So I need to do a project first. Select, project. Puzzle raw. Boom. Stage operator required. Stage. I don't want to select. I want to project. Project. Stage value cannot be empty. I don't know what you're talking about. It's not empty. Alright, run it. Project cost by field name may not start. So I'm guessing that is one level that we already have. Okay. And then we'll be able to add another stage and make that. Oh my god. Can I just write the thing without this stupid. Without this stupid wizard bollocks. Alright. That seems. What? Name length. Where are the other stages? Where do I get to the other stages? Oh, jeez. What's going on here? Sorry if this is off screen. I find this so frustrating. Alright, so. Just length. Can I just do that? I don't know why name one, but I just copied from the other thing, right? So if I do this. Alright, so now we have some long ones that I created by hand. So they didn't go through the server process. Can I see more results? We'll have to get past these big ones. Oh, wow. And then we're immediately going to under 16K, huh? We do have some here at like 23K. So I'm pretty sure this should work. And I'm pretty sure I've seen like 20K URLs in the wild back in the day. All right. Well, anyway, this doesn't get us any further along. It's a bit frustrating. I mean, we have two main options. We have option one, make the URL shorter, because we're pretty close anyways, right? How close are we? This was 17K, so we're really close. So we probably could just compress the image a little bit more. Option two would be me manually creating that, but obviously that's not sustainable because next time you want to do this, you wouldn't be able to do it yourself. So let us find our little image compression Pecorino here. I think, was it this one? No. But if I go to this one and say export as PNG and then just crank it down. The thing is, what was it? The file is 6.47K, so we'd have to really get nasty. Although it's not that bad. I don't know how important like the fact that this bird gets a bit blue suddenly. Let's go back to here and see if we can do this, for example. Thing is, it says less than 6 kilobytes, which isn't useful. Although it does shave around a K. So if we download that one, how big does that get? It's 6K instead of 6.47K. If we go to 24 colors and then apply that and download that, now we're at 5.73K. All right, and if we put that in here, it goes to 784K. And if we put that in our data and smoke it, that's what I feel like doing at this point. So if we put that in here and then compactify this, where do we end up? 15.8K, which, you know, is less. Let's just go there. So this is now 15.8K. Maybe that'll just work. That doesn't work. Why? Oh. Okay, we go even smaller, the image will be Garbo. I mean, you can pull the image back out and, you know, the puzzle will break in the future, which I'm not super fond of. Where is the one where we could actually reduce the colors? I'll go here and we'll say, I don't know, 18 colors. 73%, does that significantly change it? I mean, we must be so bloody close, right? So this went from 5.7 to 5.3. Let's make it super small and then see if that works at all. I guess we can make it super small quickly by just putting the image URL back in and try that first. So what was the original image URL? Put that back in here. Because obviously, either I have two choices, right? I can offer image hosting, and maybe in the future that's how it works. I mean, you know, because this is an inefficient way of encoding the image data, obviously. But it doesn't really matter. All right. If we do this and do that, sorry, do that, and we'll just do console.log http://local host 9012/scl plus, and then we'll do all of that. If we do this here, and then click on that link, so that works. Okay, so if it's super short, it works. So 16 colors and 5 kilobytes. We do this. Download. We're kind of edging towards the limits here. And there might, but that's why kind of background images are not really a well-supported feature, and people don't fully understand the technical side of it. Probably shouldn't be doing them. It's like, for example, Sandra from Sandra and Nala fame, she did things, but she was like, for example, you know, if it's a blank thing with just the parrots, they're super small images, it might compress really well, and it might even be better off as a JPEG. But with the grid lines, you can't do a JPEG. So doing your fancy parrots on top of grid lines thing, it's such a small detail, it might just not be worth the effort, to be fair. I mean, yeah, I'm putting in the effort, but you probably put in a bunch of effort as well. If I copy that and then paste it here, that works. Okay, that works. I mean, it was not the greatest. How big is that? 14.6K. So we're right at the limit. But we could potentially, I think 20 didn't work. Did 18 work? We do 18. Download. Do this. Do this. Copy. Replace in here. Do this. Then we can do document.location equals that. Right? Boom. Boom. So that one works. Okay. I mean, I'm not super happy about it, but you can check and see if you're happy with the quality of the images. And if you're not, what can I tell you? There are limitations to doing certain things, right? You can't just stomp your feet and really, really want something to be a certain way. It's not necessarily like that. All right, so. Now, this is, you know, potentially solving your problem, but not really solving, you know, the larger problem here. So let me at least get you a URL with this right now that you can use. If I do this. doesn't work on the server. Oh, wow. So on the server, the limitations are different. My god, that's annoying. That is annoying. That is annoying. Shall we try with the smaller version? Which one was the smaller one? We have this one. We try this version. Does this one work? This one work? If this one works. Now this was the smallest, I believe. So there's one in between. Ah, wait. What am I doing here? Did I use the wrong one? Alright, let's try this one. I think that's the one that just didn't work, right? If I try this one, doesn't work. Okay, so we'll probably need to stick with this one. See if this one works for you. I'll paste it in the private chat on... I mean, alternatively, you can apply the same things. You know, you can create a transparent underlay to maintain the size, to define the size of the board, basically. And you can replace the regions with invisible killer cages, right? Or just unique cages. I mean, that's the definition of a killer cage, but you don't need to mark it as a killer cage. I don't know whatever tool you're using, how that specify that. Okay, I'm gonna have to clear a bunch of rubbish out because I'll probably generated a whole bunch of short URLs locally that I probably don't want to push. And I'm actually not sure how I can easily find those. Because my API is no longer in Git. I'll probably sort by date and just delete everything from today. There aren't that many, actually. Just these big ones here. Alright. I'll just delete those and hope for the best. 26, that's a couple of days ago. That should be fine. Okay, let's go back to our initial have to do items here. So, yeah, don't you say that, but you forget that I'm already doing that for like 40, 50,000 puzzles. And part of the reason why I'm working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day for a quarter of a regular pay is because I'm spending so much time on maintenance and admin and all that. And because of that, I'm kind of stalled on actually building new features and actually developing the things people expect. So it might be okay for you or the individual setters with a couple of puzzles to worry about, but I have all the puzzles to worry about. And a lot of the work I'm doing these days is backwards compatibility, is getting things to work, is dealing with issues of old puzzles where people say, oh, the thing doesn't work, you know, when people aren't testing things, when things aren't beta for months. In fact, lately I've test-driven pushing things straight to production because there's no point pushing things to beta and waiting a month when nobody's using beta to test things. So unless I have some kind of mechanism in the future to force push users to beta, maybe an hour every day or a day every week or whatever, it's almost useless. So I've been kind of putting all this effort to kind of do a more proper development effort, but kind of for nothing, right? I don't have a QA team. I can't hire 5 people to play puzzles all day, you know? I'm already spending too much time doing it myself. Anyway, so of these, which are the high priority ones? So these things is kind of a long-term thing. I'm not going to do that today, but I might start it. So that's the sort of thing that might go on a wiki or, you know, documentation or something. Check and puzzle extends margins with without regions. We've done that. We've figured out what the issue was. I don't think I can automatically pretend they're regions when they're not, because obviously the whole point of removing regions is because you want to make a puzzle without regions, not for invisible background shenanigans stuff. This is a very edge case, you kind of trying to work around limitations, doing something that the system isn't really designed to do. It would be much better for the system just to be designed to do it, i.e. support things like these parrots, like small images overlaid on top, right? Metadata puzzle position extend. Puzzle position extend. Yeah, so that's also kind of long-term stuff. In fact, putting numbers against these is silly. That's not kind of That's just the order in which I thought of them. So metadata puzzle. I think we cannot do this. There's two sub parts of metadata. Puzzle position. Yeah. Keep setting query string. So this is the one actionable item I have. So the idea is basically when we are automatically generating an ID, and let's just make sure we don't have weird changes that we need to revert. In fact, we have in the server. Let's revert these. What was this? Shorter grid line. Okay, I don't think I need those notes anymore. Oop. That's undone. That's undone. That's empty. And that one is... We'll remove that in a moment. Okay. Thanks, man. All right, so right now the problem is that some of the compressed puzzle data violates, well, it doesn't really violate HTTP standards, but unfortunately certain online systems violate HTTP standards, such as Cloudflare, I think, and AWS for sure, and they strip double slashes out of URL data because they pretend it's a path, even though it's just supposed to be a string. The HTTP standard does not specify the meaning of slashes in them. So stripping double slashes, it's something they just decided to do because 99% of the time, it corrects a broken URL. In our case, it breaks URLs, right? So to get around that, when you hit a long URL, I cannot trust the data that arrives at the server. So what happens is it actually round trips you back to the client, sends you to this file, auto short ID, this little HTML file, right? Where it now makes the API request, where it does maintain the quality of the data, right? But what comes back, it just redirects to, and it does not maintain the query string data. So what I can do here is, if I hide this, there won't be a redirection. And if I look at get puzzle ID here. So if I say document.location. So let's just output that just as a reference, right? If we'll do .search, but we don't necessarily want all of the search strings because there might be a puzzle ID, right? So we might have to either remove the puzzle ID element or find all the settings or just find specific ones. So we can also basically do this. Something like that. So let's go to one that has the setting. So if I look at this, what do I get? I think I get an iterable, right? So if I say something like that, I get an array. Right. And if I say object.entries, I think I get the same, right? No. Okay. So that gets us an iterable. And then we can do filter key val. And then we'll do slash setting dot test key. Okay. And if I do something like and PID equals 123, and then I'll do this again, it filters that out. And now, can I turn this back into a search param? That's the question. Okay, so that's a start. And if I do something like this, what do I get? I get an object, and that object, I'm guessing, has a dot add dot, I don't know. That sound in this song just now, that's reminds me of, what was it called? There was a video of MIDI music synced to a 3D animation. I don't remember. It was like a ball xylophone. It was bouncing balls all around and it had this sound in it. I loved it. But that probably just means it's a particular MIDI instrument that sounds like that. Because I don't think it's the same notes either. But it's a similar cadence, let's say. We have get all has keys set. So set name value. So we should be able to do set let's just do this. So I'm gonna do a little function like that. We'll do let qs equals that, like that, and then we'll do that, and then for key val or kv off. So we should be able to do const kv off that, and then we'll just say qs.set .kv, and then we'll do console.log qs. I think that should be the trick. That should do the trick. Let's colorize. Okay. If I run this on this double thing, we'll get a query string. Does it represent what we're looking for? Yes. And if I add a second one and setting made up equals 4, right? And then I run this, we get that back. Okay. So that code gets us the query string of all the elements that start with setting underscore. So we can do this, right? We can do this. And I kind of make this a little bit saner. Let's const, we'll do qs equals that. And then next qs equals that. Right. Then we'll do qs.filter yada yada. Next qs.set. Like that. Right. Don't actually need that. Okay, don't need these. And we can do new path. All right. And then we can do something like this. New path question mark equal qs.toString. I don't think we need to toString it in this case. Right. And then we'll do new path again. And we'll want to use the next QS here. Right. And now, if we do a thing that gets us a long URL, which I believe this would be. So if we go to local host 9012, this should get us a long URL. And that gets us this situation, which is not exactly what we want, right? So we'll do we'll do so we'll do next URL, new URL, let next URL equals new URL, new path, and next URL dot search equals well, to be honest, it's that question mark, right? Ew. The problem is, it'll get us a question mark if there's nothing in there, which I don't like. So we'll do if nextQS dot. Is there a size, or is it size or length? I am not certain. New URL search params dot size. Okay, it's size. If dot size is greater than 0, we'll do that. I don't know if a URL. So let's see. If we do new URL backslash right invalid URL document dot location dot search equals question mark. So we cannot do new URL is this. We'll do document dot location. Right? And then we'll do next URL dot path. Is it path name or just path? Path name. Path name equals new path. Right? Search equals this dot toString. But I think now we need the question mark. And then at the end, we can output next URL. Okay. So if we go back to the big stringificator, what do we get? Not defined. Right. Boom. So what do we get? What do we get? New path. Next query string. All of these. All right. But if we now go back to this one and add whatefs, right? No, we want to add the whatefs over here. So if we add something like setting no grid here at the end, plus that, right? And we'll do this. We'll end up with next URL looking like this. So that should do the trick. Okay, so let's clean this up a little bit. So what we really need to do now is none of these. Have a query string. Filter out the settings, fine. We have a next URL. We'll start with the current one. It'll just get us the host and all that. We'll set the path name to this. We don't need new path here. Then we'll set up the query string stuff. And then we're actually down here. And that'll be next URL.href. Right. And this is old stuff. We're not going to use anymore. All right. So now if I go back to here and then rerun this, it gets this. And then it wants to redirect to that. Okay, that looks good. And then the final redirect will be this. And get rid of this. Get rid of this. And that. And save that. And one more last time. Boom. New path is not defined. All right. One last time. Boom. Setting no grid. All right, so that'll fix it for the auto URL. It won't fix it for any external systems that might be using the API, such as, I think Sudoku Maker may or may not, Mark's Converter may or may not, I don't know. But for the automatically generated one, this should do the trick. And I think that's a good change. I'm actually gonna push that. I'm also gonna not push this just yet, because I'm still working on that. 1 second, I need to find a space on my desktop. Any of these monitors. Get rid of that. All right. And now we'll push that. Whew. And then I need to take care of some urgent real-world issues with my ID card being renewed and my taxes being out of date. And now Google isn't going to send me money, and Revolut doesn't want to bank with me anymore. And it's a huge mess. And ADHD is not helping. And I need to figure out what my accountant needs to do it, to make it all happen. So, and it's gotten so urgent now because it's the 29th and tomorrow it all expires. And there's no way any of this is going to happen in a day. So unfortunately, I'm kind of screwed one way or another. Keep settings through auto short ID. I think that should do that. So I'm going to commit that. And then I'm also going to update the puzzle data right after I get rid of all the garbage I just generated. Just the one, apparently. Okay, get rid of that. Do I want to get rid of some garbage I've created on the server? Nah. It needs to be able to handle that. And then I need to remember, I still haven't cleaned up these scripts. All right, so we want to do npm run, think, no, npm run fetch API beta. But we also want to count it first. So ctc app npm run count API beta. Ooh. And press enter. npm run count API beta. So that's a local count. AWS 4. And the remote count, so we're already at almost 102K. Holy moly. Very similar. All right. API beta. And what about production? Prod AWS 4. All right, take care, Michael. Hope the puzzle turns out the way you want. 103,000 short IDs now. Yeah, it's really high time for that database. All right, let's sync this stuff. It takes a while now. That's another reason for the database. I don't have to do these manual syncs through my local system. I mean, I don't necessarily need to sync it anymore. I could sync it to remote, like I could sync beta to production. But do I want that? Basically what I do is I load alpha first, then I load beta on top, and then I load production on top of that into my local beta. And then from there, I push it to both beta and production online. But of course, that means, you know, downloading 300,000 files and uploading 200,000 files. And that's probably not the best way of doing it. In fact, I massively sped up my local syncing between beta and production just by switching it to Robocopy in Windows rather than using WSL, which is like, has huge file access performance issues. And I think I should probably kill something. I think if I kill the virus scanner, I think it'll be a lot faster. Because it like tries to scan every file, you know. Alright, let's see if we do this now. 1792. Alright, got a little bit more extra here. Let's get production. Actually, alpha we can basically ignore. If somebody creates puzzles on alpha, sorry, but they might get deleted. Alpha is not for production use. Who'd have thought, right? Alright, I don't think I need to keep that anymore. Hopefully that is all sorted. We can close these things. I can close these. I can probably close this. Paratest I'm gonna erase. I'm not gonna upload that. So staging API full test. Where is test? Here. And then we'll get rid of paratest. That should now exist online, right? Pretty sure that should exist online now. Count API beta 100. Okay, so it hasn't gotten to any of the new ones in production that don't exist locally yet. Close all of this. I think we can close all of these. And thanks for helping me pin down the exact issue here. I learn about the system all the time as well, so it's not just me doing something for you, it's you helping me out, making the system better for everybody. And even learning techniques, you know, maybe we don't have to fix a bug. Maybe we'll just figure out, oh, okay, that's the way to work around an issue in the system. Because not all issues are best fixed right now. Some of the issues are better left for, you know, a proper fix down the line. So there's that. All right, so we've done the fetch from beta and production. So now beta is at 134 yada yada. And production online on the AWS is at so 13462 13453. All right, so now I'm gonna sync my local beta to my local production. npm run sync API production. Now here you can see the little sneaky robocopy. So we're going to execute robocopy from Linux through Windows and get a fast copy. So now we should be able to run a local count on production, which is the same as beta now and slightly higher than the online one by a few, you know, tests or whatever. And now we want to deploy that, which I believe I have to do through here because reasons. Don't edit anything there. Not from here. So we'll deploy API beta. And let's make a count of beta as well. Beta-AWS4. And then we'll deploy API beta, and then we'll deploy API production. So it's about 2K short. So that should get updated now. Don't know how long that'll take. How long did it take before? Did it have timing data involved? Oh, it's not off my scroll thing. I wasn't timing it, unfortunately. I would have liked to have timing data on that. I forgot. Now I don't know how long this will take. Alright, so was there something else? Yeah, so that's done. It's not a huge thing, but it's came up a couple of times now. That's kind of how I judge things. If something comes up one time, it's probably not necessarily a good idea to jump and do something about it. But if it comes up 2 or 3, unless it's something like catastrophic, like something with the ad system kind of going all wonky. All right, so now that's beta synced. So that should be 103.453 now, right? 4562. And now the same thing for production. And then we should be all synced up. Yeah. So let's do the same thing for production. Now, what was this? The accounts UI demo. I think we can just commit that. That's a temporary file. It'll change. It'll disappear. It's fine. I'm just putting it here because it needs to live. Ah, maybe actually no. Maybe it doesn't need to live here. Maybe that can live inside SudokuPad.app. And maybe that's where it should live. Maybe I can put it there somehow. So if we go SudokuPad.app, if I go to the server here, if I look at this right now, we have some special routes. For example, the special thanks page, right? Or is the special thanks page also coming from here? Might be coming from here. Special thanks, is it in here? I don't think I've been merging stuff yet. Or is that from... special thanks. Special... Wait a second. If I go to SudokuPad, special thanks.html, which probably needs an update as well, come to think of it. Doesn't seem to exist anymore. Wait a second. What about help/bookmarklets? Localhost 912. Am I looking at the wrong thing here? Because match root URL home help. Are we matching something else first? Alright, 1 second. If I kill this, go here, doesn't exist. I just pressed. I do this, then go here. Does anything happen? Ending. No 404, no nothing, huh? What? Sorry, because I tried to keep the font large for the stream, but it takes away all my space on the screen, so it's hard to see anything. Handle server request, get request protocol, try route. If we do this, protocol. If I do this, right? Console.clock. Oh, no. What did you want to... My god. My finger slips to a neighboring key, and before you know it, it's like, you want to switch on the robot revolution? I don't know. Sure, why not? Nope, that's, again, same thing, right? If I do this and do this. So it goes here. Okay. It finds a route, doesn't it? Route, help, sure. So it goes to here, and it uses serve static path. Serve static path. And then it doesn't. What? Serve static. Serve static. Serve static. File path. URL. Okay. Try that again. Serve static. Help bookmarklets. Route function. Serve static. And Kilroy get root CTC app public staging help bookmark. It's serving it from here, where it doesn't live. Wait a second. When did that happen? Wait. App tier. No, not app tier. www dear. Oh dear. Couldn't resist. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's gotta be. Holy crap! How long has that been wrong? All right. Wow. I think builder's the same thing, right? Not app dear. So if I take this and change this to builder/builder.html, we got a test button. See what that does. Test. Okay. So anything else from this category, puzzle listing, also should be dear. And maybe some other ones. Puzzle listing. Boom. Puzzle listing. Index.html. Okay, I mean, this could be old stuff that's kind of broken. Flash pack listing.html. Don't know. Index.html. I don't know. But it now means we should be able to add... oh, and plain pages as well, right? So that should be www dear. Ah, but where are they? Next up dear. Special thanks. Up dear special thanks. Oh, MNOPS. Special thanks. Did I move the special thanks page? I moved it to Sven Codes, didn't I? It's on Sven Codes now, that's why. So we probably can just remove that. So how about demos? And then we'll just do something like something like this. Demo. Right, and then he'll just do demo. And then we move that in here. And then we should be able to just say demo. Because all the files we need should still be available because we're running through the same URL branch. So we should still be able to request script.js, CSS files, anything we need. So okay, so this is where it should live. So then we don't have to move it back in here. But we also need to update this now. All right, I think we can get rid of that. We can get rid of that and that. Boom. Right, and then we'll 238. Don't think that should be uncommented. Okay. And we'll just say fix static URLs. Static page URLs. Page paths. All right. And then we kind of do want to deploy that as well. We want to do a run deploy server. And does that deploy www? Force server. Deploy server pages. And then instead of server, we're gonna wait, where would the www path be online? Ooh. Marks.www. Ooh, wait a second. app deer is that? Yeah, so the deer comes from here, which means is the reason why we have different ones online and remote. I'd like it not to be under SRC, but to keep things sane, I think I'm gonna just move those under SRC at the moment. So we're just gonna go, instead of server, we're just gonna go gonna do SRC www, and then we'll copy from SRC www to SRC www. Right. I've never done this before because otherwise I would have a script for it. Oh, deploy server. And then we'll want to deploy server pages. Deploy server pages, because obviously we'll need a bunch of those in the future. And then this should also work online. So I should be able to do this. Maybe not. SudokuPad.app. Boom. Not yet. I'll probably have to restart it. So if I do that, yay! Okay, sweet. All right. Did we finish deploying these? Yes. The one thing we haven't deployed yet is the new release for beta. And we might as well deploy beta to production, because that's where this stuff happens. And that's the problem, right? Like, putting something like this feature on beta for testing doesn't really help, because nobody's going to test it, and it's a feature that doesn't affect the game engine at all. So I should have... It would be good if I had, like, a separation of concerns there. Like, the puzzle engine and then the tooling should be kind of... All the tooling should be, like, on a subdomain or something, I don't know. But that might have other problems, right? Deploy beta to production. That's the world we live in now. Not start. Update. Fine. All right. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. I think everything should now be up to date, deployed, committed. I need to, that I can get rid of. This, I think I can get rid of. I hope Juggler doesn't need any of this for reference. Sorry, bye-bye. I'll have to rebuild it if I need it. And then I want to get rid of this as well. But I'm happy actually with these little improvements. We'll did some user support, right? That was the point of today's. It's I should have done that before the stream. Let me just review my schedule if I still have it. Oh, all sorts of. I probably should schedule. Yes, and we're starting a new week. I think 29. Yep. So let's do that. It's week 18. So we've done that. Yay. All right. I need to do a bunch of things this afternoon, though, regarding my ID card and all this stuff. But first, I'm going to eat something so I don't starve to death. My food situation has been a bit upset this weekend as well. All right. All right. Usually, I'll have a quick game to do some minimum testing, but I don't think I'll spend the time today. Simon wants me to change some rules of a puzzle. I think I'd rather not do that on stream. He might get upset for spoilers for his video. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate it. Especially since I know the timing is probably a bit off for most people in the world. Most people in the world live somewhere else than me. All right. Take care. Have a good one. And see you in the next one. Bye-bye.